And this chapter is called, I Did the Hardest Thing in My Life in a Porta-John in Orlando. And I wrote that line in a Porta-John in Orlando. On a spiritual map, Soul Quest Ayahuasca Church of Mother Earth, that's the name of my cult, sits firmly at the nexus of our world and several less burdened dimensions. But on this plane, it's located about 20 minutes east of downtown Orlando, on a long, skinny parcel of live oaks and bamboo between a martial arts academy and an auto body shop. The conventional way to arrive is by automobile, usually a lift from the airport, though occasionally people make the long haul down from Georgia or Alabama in their SUV and park behind the horse gate in the lot out back. Despite the church's lack of attachment to the usual terrestrial expectations, it is not a fly-by-night sort of affair. There's a tent in the back where Sean, a beefy medic with a silver buzz cut, takes temps and blood pressures. And someone in the organization knows their way around Microsoft Word. In the front office, there are printed name tags with the church logo and designations as to the wearer's role and lodging details. I'm in Dragonfly Lodge. While the church does not charge for their holy medicine, a bitter psychedelic liquid made from the leaves of the ayahuasca vine, they do collect a donation for the 2-day retreat, about $900, to cover the cost of accommodations, a 4-inch mattress on the floor, meals, intermittent celery, and the work of accompaniment and supervision. To facilitate the transfer of this lucre, the church is connected to the usual payment channels. They accept Visa and MasterCard, even if they occasionally mix up the files and inadvertently try to charge you for the extra ceremony on Saturday morning. I spent some time in mid-September as a member of this church. Along with 85 or so other souls, I swiped my credit card, accepted the sacrament, and embarked on a journey. I have no doubt that some of my fellow travelers found a measure of relief in the arms of ayahuasca on the grounds of that church. I only know that my single strongest conviction, as I crept out under the locked horse gate, was that I would never, not in a million celestial lifetimes, set foot again on that property. I feel driven to account for that misguided weekend because I am someone who failed to transcend. My ego is not burned from my bones by the juice of the vine. I met no earthen goddesses. I vomited no endlessly coiled snake. I write this because I did not make it to the other side, and some did, and they're no longer around to give the accounting. Even now, hurtling north on the Amtrak Silver Meteor, separated from the retreat by little more than a handful of hours and 60 miles of steel, I cannot recall the exact shifting in my perspective that occurred over the course of the weekend, or how precisely I found myself, ant-bitten and half-conscious, being evacuated by stretcher from a grove of oaks out back of the compound. When exactly did rain start to cease? Rain is one of my cohort. And was it before or after my hands grew 2 sizes? Someone made the decision to join that church, and someone writes these words now. But I'm unclear what precisely separates those two people. This uncertainty gives the process of composition a disconcerting and unhelmed quality. I can say only one thing with any certainty, and this I mention in the hope of sufficiently inculpating myself in what turned out to be the single worst decision of my entire life. I can say only this: in retrospect, there were a great many hints. So I'm gonna jump you ahead so you can get a little flavor of the actual place, just to kind of the moments before this all happened. And you really don't need to know too much, except it was very scary. So, there we go. Around dusk, we all gathered in the courtyard. A hedge of bamboo swayed above us. A volunteer lit a fire in the fire pit.